What's going on, Internet? nerdlocker.com back here for more comic reviews, and I'm starting off with the highly anticipated Batman number 28. This is the first glimpse we get of the new weekly series coming out, Batman Eternal, and there's a lot going on. I mean, there is a lot going on. I feel like that's all I can say without giving anything away. There's just a lot of stuff that I can't wait to see it come to fruition in Batman Eternal. And there's some positions that characters are in that could be very interesting. I mean, personally, there's one who's the new Kingpin of Gotham that you'll read. And I can't wait to see how this happens, because since the New 52 started, I feel like this character hasn't been to their full potential. But I don't know. That's all I can really get into in here. This is a Harper Row heavy issue. She's awesome, and I can't wait to see how this just plays out. This is just a really cool teaser to get you stoked for this series. And I just think it's awesome that Scott Snyder is not only writing Batman, but now he's doing a Batman weekly series. Like, he's got so much Batman in his head, he just has to write a bunch of titles. But it's awesome because he's doing a great job, and this issue is outstanding. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Please let me know what you thought of this issue.
Hey guys, I got a chance to read a new #1 this week with The Fuse, and I thought it was really great. It's written by Anthony Johnston and illustrated by Justin Greenwood. I like the artwork. The writing was definitely good. It follows two detectives that are stationed on an orbiting space station around the planet. One that actually has its own citizenship. If you move there, you can choose to actually gain citizenship for the space station and live there permanently and live away from the United States or whatever country you're coming from. There's not too much crime on this space station, and now there are 2 people that have been murdered, and the detectives have to investigate that. The people that have been murdered are basically the homeless of the space station. They're called cablers, which someone alludes that they travel and live through the cables, which is weird, and it intrigues me. I want to see where that goes, so I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Check it out.
Hey there guys, come here with my reviews this week. I got to read Star Wars number 14. It ends this awesome story arc. Not from Darth Vader's perspective, which is the coolest thing, because I don't really like when you get in his head. I just like when you see what he does, because he's a maniacal, crazy dude, and he's all over the place. But the main character in this whole thing has in the last, I think it's like 3 issues, has kind of been guiding you along, and it finally comes to an end, and it's not to give too many spoilers, but she survives, and serving under Lord Vader, she almost actually gets killed, but obviously she survives, and it's cool that he actually goes through with all his promises and stuff like that, but it's very fitting to see at the very end of this, her just completely lose her mind because she keeps seeing him all over the place because he's that terrifying. Like, I love that they did that to this character. I love what he does to characters that came up in the first story arc that were pretty much, like, I wrote him off. I didn't think he'd show back up, but he does, and it makes a little more sense as to what's going on and kind of builds that Star Wars universe. I'm really excited for what Brian Wood's doing. I've been excited for it, and I haven't been let down, and that excitement hasn't subsided. It's increased tremendously with every issue. I can't talk more awesome things about this book. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls because it was a great story arc ending, and it's kind of setting up some awesome stuff for future Star Wars reference, and I just can't wait for it. I really hope this makes the cut over to Marvel. I really hope they just like, oh yeah, we'll bring you on, it's fine. So write to Marvel, make them do that. Write to Dark Horse, make them do that too. Whatever you need to do, I don't know how to do it. I'll figure it out and we'll talk about it. So 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there nerds, Jim here with my comic book reviews this week, and I'm going to start with X-Force #1. I'll just start from the bat. Man, I was so disappointed. I loved X-Force back in the 90s when it first came about. I loved the theory that it's more militaristic. I love the sort of more recent runs with like Yost and Remender, where it was just violent. I love the Rick Remender, where it was just, they killed the little boy Apocalypse. Man, that was awesome. So violent. And the lineup they had was awesome. I loved it. So when it was relaunched recently, and I started reading it a little bit, not great. So now when it was relaunched again, this time as X-Force, not the Uncanny X-Force, I was really excited. I'm like, all right, let's bring this back. We're going to bring Cable back into the X-Force. Cool. Not excited with the lineup. Really kind of bummed. We have Marrow, we have Psylocke, we have obviously Cable, and then we have Phantom X. I love Phantom X. I love Psylocke. But it's just really weird the way they're telling this story. Not a big fan of focusing on Marrow. Man, I'm really bummed. And then the big, twist at the end, which Cable knew, which I like because Cable's an awesome character. Loved him in Second Coming. I don't know, I'm just really disappointed who he is right now, at least in this book. I'm just disappointed. That's the best I can say. Disappointed. Not excited about the next book in the series. Not excited to see where this goes. I hope it gets better. Right now, I'm just bummed. I'm going to only give it 1.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I got to read The Winter Soldier, The Bitter March, #1. Now, originally when I saw this, the solicitation for this, I was thinking, Rick Remender writing an ongoing Winter Soldier series. This is awesome. It's still awesome, but it's not an ongoing. This is a limited run, but it's really cool. We pick up with the Winter Soldier in the 60s. Well, actually, we pick up with Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. in the 60s, and this is just a really good espionage book, and if you're excited for the movie, I would definitely suggest picking this up because this just reminds you how ruthless and badass Bucky Barnes is when he was brainwashed as the Winter Soldier. If you don't know a lot about the character, I suggest picking this up so you're a little educated on the movie, or the comic book. But I know a lot of people are stoked for the movie, and if you are, I definitely suggest checking this up. This might be a good bridge to bring you over into the comic world. Rick Remender is an absolutely incredible writer. I love everything that he does, and I like the whole tone of this first issue and the last couple pages when you see the Winter Soldier. It's awesome. That's all I can say is it's just awesome. Definitely pick this up. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, I got to read Manifest Destiny #4, which I made the mistake of forgetting to read #3, but I caught up with this issue and it was really, really good. I love this book with each issue that comes out. With #4, they are kind of they're coming back from being attacked by the Minotaurs or whatever you want to call them, buffalo heads and whatnot. But horse bodies, something like that. It's really, really weird, but that's not even the best part. The moss zombies are definitely cool, and it scares the crap out of me. I want to see where that's coming. And in this book, somebody gets infected by the virus that spreads that moss virus or whatever you want to call it. I really loved this book. This one, it makes it even better. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Everyone should be reading Manifest Destiny.
All right, guys, going to be here with my review of Avengers #26 this week. Another great Hickman issue. He's really got a great handle on these characters, and I love how he's bringing in awesome villains from back in the day. Well, not really back in the day, the people that have been around Avengers villains forever, but just making them different, making them better, making them cooler. Adaptoids are what we're facing this issue, which is awesome, and it kind of makes... It's weird that the team that they brought through was the Avengers, but it's cool that they were like the Dick Avengers. Randomly throughout the entire Marvel multiverse, like the one, they pointed out the one team that we pull is the Avengers, but then also happens to be like the worst version of them, and they're kind of causing havoc on Earth. So someone from that team stays behind after they bounce back to wherever they came from, which is, again, really random. And I'm really excited to see what happens with that because it's a very crazy character, and the way it happens is like so many questions, it's a huge head scratch moment. Like, whoa, what's going to happen here? So I like that potential, what that story could bring. I'm not going to say it yet. We'll talk about it next week or whatever. Whenever I get a chance. But that was really cool. I love how they're kind of just modernizing everything a little bit and still leaving you wanting more. It's exactly what a comic book should do. So go read this. This was a 4 Nerd Skull book. Could have been a little bit better. But hey, you can't ask for perfection all the time. So check it out, guys.
So I just read Kick-Ass 3, #6. Really cool because we get to see more interaction with Mindy and her dad, Big Daddy. And it's cool because obviously it's a flashback and we see more of Mindy's training, which is cool. I'm always a fan of that. I love seeing it. She's doing it under sort of duress because it's a psychiatrist interviewing her, obviously still in the jail. Don't want to get bogged down in the details, but it's really interesting, and there's a nice twist because her mom is there, which we've seen, and that goes way different than me as a reader thought, but also way different than the psychiatrist thought, and it's really funny how that works out. I'm sort of getting a little tired as we're getting bogged down in story, and it seems like it's just rehashing the story that we left off in. More of the masked guys are being disposed of, and the mob is taking care of what they feel they need to. Leave it off with a cliffhanger, as Mark Millar typically does. I cannot wait to read the rest of the story. I love what he's done with these characters in the past. I'm a little nervous because things don't end too good, and if anything with Millar, you can't guess where he's going to go, because you may guess and then he'll do a 180 just to say screw you. So I'm curious where this is going to go. I can't wait to read the next one. I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, I got to read Superman Wonder Woman #5. Now, initially when I picked up the first issue of this book, I completely wrote it off because I was like, oh man, like it just seems unnecessary. I gave the second issue a shot, and we've reviewed a couple others on here, and it's kind of pulled me back in. Maybe because I'm such a big fan of Superman's history, and you brought Zod into the fold here, and Doomsday in this New 52 is a Kryptonian type creature, I guess. I guess that's what he is now. Because he's not what he was before. But either way, I really like that they're bringing this into this story, and it is cool seeing Wonder Woman and Superman throw down with Zod and Theora. I can never pronounce her name from the movie, but it really is good. I'm enjoying this, and like I said, I think it's just the right villains, and they do reference a lot of stuff from Wonder Woman's ongoing, the Brian Azzarello run, which is outstanding. So this one has me hooked back in. I'm definitely going to continue to give it a shot. Like I said, this is the villains to me, and this is kind of the direction I would have liked to see Batman Superman go in. I know that's coming up on a new arc. Maybe that'll get a little bit better. But right now, I'm enjoying this. Sorry for writing it off, but I'm giving this one 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Let me know what you guys thought.
So I just finished reading Justice League 3000 #3. This book's kind of all over the place, like I said about the last two. I really like the interaction between the Justice League superheroes. Right now we basically have 3 left, and it's Superman, but not Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman. And they look like the people they were, but they aren't. The only one who's kind of true to form is Batman, in that he's still analyzing things. He still wants to know all the information he can. But we just have an egomaniacal Superman who thinks he can do no wrong and thinks he still has the superpowers that he used to, but he doesn't. And we have Wonder Woman who's just a raging bitch, which is really kind of interesting to see. Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, is still on his own. He been kidnapped, can't really get away or do anything. It's actually getting a little better. If you've seen my other reviews, I was kind of wondering where this is going and not terribly interested. It's actually getting better. I like how the twins are still fighting, and obviously they're going against these things that they keep referring to, the 5, and now we've revealed a couple of them. So I'm interested to see more. I like how we sort of tied back to the first one on why that girl was running in the beginning, and we don't exactly know what she's doing, but we know she's afraid of people, and she's about to make a connection. So I'm actually more interested, and I'm happy with that. I'm sad that they took 3 issues to get me there. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one middle of the road 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I'm curious where they're going with it.
All right. Lastly, I got to review Forever Evil, Rogue's Rebellion, #5. And I know sometimes tie-ins to big books, especially Marvel always does it, but they're not always the greatest. But I'm very happy with this. I mean, if you don't love the Rogues, I don't know what's wrong with you. The Rogues are just a great group of bad guys. And their position in this Forever Evil storyline is actually really unique. I liked it a lot. I know there's one more issue here. I believe there's one more issue. But they're really utilizing them well. And, Captain Cold is in the actual Forever Evil story. But watching what the rest of them do and the way they handle it, I thought this was a great tie-in. I mean, I really did. I, once again, was ready to kind of, I don't know, it's probably just something to sell books, but they're doing a really good job showing what's going on in Forever Evil and keeping it in the same time stream of everything. Everything's kind of happening at the same time. And I'm liking it. I'm liking this issue a lot. If you're a fan of the Rogues, you should be reading this. If you're a fan of the Flash, you should be reading this. But if you haven't picked it up, I suggest checking that out because it's a fun read. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 nerds.